Sad news to report that honestly, my wife just texted this to me, and I didn't open it until just in the break. But Tim Wakefield's wife Stacy has died. She had been battling pancreatic cancer before he was diagnosed with brain cancer. So Tim Wakefield, who died recently, and now his wife has passed away. They have two children, Brianna and Trevor. Survived their parents. So very sad news to start off the second hour of the Rob Dibble Show. We're live at Clubhouse on Main and Glastonbury, getting ready for UConn versus Villanova. Don't forget, they have karaoke tonight at 8 o'clock here at Clubhouse on Main. Fridays, they have DJ Melee. Saturday, they have live music with John Mays from 8 to 11. And certainly looking forward to March Mayhem.
There you go.
March 21st and 22nd. Reserve your tables for tip-off right now as they open the doors for this establishment at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so the doors are open. People are coming in. Come down and see us. We've got ski tickets to give away, and I held back an Avenged Sevenfold pair of tickets as well for the masses to come in. We'll try to get that around.
Aren't you sneaky?
5 o'clock, 5:30. We'll see who shows up and what we can do with those tickets. But we got stuff to win here on top of anything you want Fox Sports-wise. Selena and Victoria hooking that up for anybody as well. Clubhouse on Main in Glastonbury. We got our truck parked outside, so just look for that. We did have Yamamoto throw 2 innings, struck out 3 batters. And I did get a ground ball double play as well in the first inning. So far, so good. Looked like he knows what he's doing out there.
For what they're paying him, I hope he knows what
sure
he's doing
hope.
out there. Did see a huge video on him. He doesn't train like a lot of the modern-day pitchers train. He actually trains with a javelin, and he tries to take as much pressure off his elbow as possible so that he doesn't have to eventually maybe go under Tommy John. But nobody can control that. That's, I think, out of everybody's control. But he's huge into flexibility, does yoga, Pilates. I was watching him. He was doing basically a gymnastics move where you bend over backwards and your palms are down over your shoulders.
Like a back handspring?
Yeah, it's like a back hamstring. And then he's doing stuff on the walls, the Pilates and all the other stuff. Very flexible young man. And so he trains in a different fashion, which is a lot, like I said, like Tim Lincecum was kind of a unicorn. This guy is kind of a unicorn. We've said that about Shohei, but Shohei's 6'5", 240. He's a big weightlifting guy. I mean, he's a big, strong, strapping guy. A lot of pitchers now are big into, medicine balls and throwing heavier balls than baseballs. They do that whole drive line thing and stuff, which honestly, hasn't proven one way or another whether it's destroying your arm or not. I just don't like it with younger players. If you're a professional, more power to you. Do your own thing. I played with Kevin Brown, who was big into the weights, played with other guys like myself. I was not. I was into more flexible stuff. That was something that we did with the Reds. We did flexibility all spring. But seriously, I mean, I'm looking forward to this guy because whenever you have a guy, whether it's Kodai Senga or any of these other players that are coming from another country, it's good to allow them some time before we really start to judge how good they're going to be because you never know. I have a tattoo on my butt because I judged Ichiro way too soon and too quickly because of his size, and he proved me wrong and a lot of other people. So let's, this guy's 5'10", could be as good as Pedro Martinez one day. We hope for that. But it's a good start to get that under your belt and get that behind you, and now move on getting ready for the season. 2
full innings, 3 strikeouts. One of those strikeouts, they are playing the Texas Rangers World Series champs. Marcus Semien, one of the victims of the strikeouts. So that's saying something, man. I mean, I know it's spring training, but, the first looks that you have of these Japanese players with the Dodgers. Ohtani hits a home run yesterday, and Yamamoto has shut out for 2. So,
well, but I was telling you about the Braves game today. The Phillies struck out 6 times in the first 3 innings. They also scored 3 runs off the starter. So there were 4 home runs hit in the first 3 innings of that game. So these guys, they're already what we would say they're polling. They're already like swinging the bats. They're in midseason form. Trying to hit it 450, 500 feet. I think it's exciting for baseball fans to see guys come out and not struggle the first week, come out and start pounding the baseball. That shows that they've been working hard probably since December.
The Cubs reintroduced Cody Bellinger today at their facility in Arizona. Reintroduced. This is the first I've ever heard of that. I've never seen someone get reintroduced from a team that they were playing on the year before.
Yeah, you signed him to a 1-year, $17 million deal. Now he gets 3 years, $80 million, but he can still opt out, so he can actually say goodbye again, I guess, at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Would that be say goodbye?
We'll have to reintroduce him then.
Then you'd
next
have to
year.
reintroduce him if he opts back in. Listen, the guy's a hell of a player when he's playing well. I hope he stays consistent. I enjoyed listening to what he had to say. He said, listen, I had a lot of fun playing with these guys last year. I'm happy to be back. It adds a huge weapon in the middle of that lineup and in the National League Central.
Dude.
And so that,
Yes.
to me, instead of Bellinger going to the Yankees or the Mets or the Dodgers and going to the usual suspects, to go back to the Cubs,
Right.
To have the Cubs spending money again is good for baseball.
And I've been telling you guys, I'm a Cubs fan, man. I'm just going to tell you guys, like, the neighborhood that they are in is so bad this year.
But
so
you
bad.
wished for this. You wanted him to come back badly.
For sure, I wanted him to come back, but I wasn't gonna. I don't think I was gonna lose any sleep over it because, again, the Pirates, the Reds, the Brewers are gonna be so bad, and the Cardinals aren't the greatest as far as on paper right now. So I think that he is.
Well, you stole the Brewers manager.
I know.
You haven't even talked about that yet, you thief.
Oh, keeping that
stole
under wraps.
counsel.
Just wait until that wins us an extra 20 games.
Got rid of that dead weight David Ross guy.
He's just got a
I actually liked Ross. I thought he was a good manager.
friendly ballpark.
Started taking some of his parts away from him. It's kind of hard to, if you're the crew chief of Ferrari and they take the engine away from you, it's kind of hard to win races.
You know how I feel about the guy. Substitute teacher, just holding the spot for Craig Counsell. Just holding the spot.
Wow.
It's a great ballpark for Bellinger, left-handed bat. He plays.
It's custom made for him.
The one thing I like about Bellinger that not many people talk about, he can DH, he can play center, he can play right, left, he can play first base. He is a very versatile player. He was a big part of the clubhouse and the push at the end of the season, and big part of.
Well, you thought they were going to trade him. There was
Right.
talk that they were going to trade him and they were going to trade some of the other stars, and they kept them and they went for it. They actually added players.
And that was all Dansby Swanson.
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson going into Jed Hoyer's office and telling him specifically, you're not trading Cody Bellinger, and you're not trading anybody. And if anything, you're going to get Candelario. And then that's exactly what they did. Now, say it ain't so Suzuki.
Yeah,
dropping the
now
ball in
where's
right field.
Candelario? He's over with the Reddies.
Is he with the Reds?
He's with the Reds,
The
yeah.
Reds?
Signed a 3-year deal.
Now, and I think the Pirates have done a pretty decent job in the offseason for the Pirates. As any team making moves, they're doing better than those Red Sox, I'll tell you that. But still, I think the neighborhood is very easy this year for Cody Bellinger to have a duplicate, if not better, season than what he did last year in the Windy City.
Back to some more spring training notes. Alex Manoah, who had a lot of issues last year, he hit 3 batters in his first spring training start.
He's frustrated.
17 of 38 pitches for strikes. He's got to get somebody. He's got to probably call up John Smoltz's psychotherapist guy and figure it out, because this guy's got great stuff. He was hitting the mid-90s with the fastball, but a lot of us go through it where you lose some confidence, you doubt your ability, you go out there and you can't find the strike zone.
Blue Jays sent him down to single A at the beginning of last year. Like, he started with the club, and then he immediately said, okay, this isn't going to work after 2 starts. He, took that on the chin, battled back to get to where he is right now. And when I saw that today, too, I was like, gosh, man, this guy is so shaky. And the funny thing is he was Cy Young material 2 years ago. Like, the drop-off has been very fast and very steep for Alek Manoah. So
pitching is a really tough thing, man. It is
feels
not
like
easy.
it's in his head, though.
It
It's
is.
not physical.
And I try to get it across to my young pitchers. 95% of the game is mental when you're stepping up on that mound. And you have to have confidence. You have to have the ability to spot the pitches and get ahead of hitters, especially today, because there's so much technology. Even live during the game where you can – I'm not a big fan of it, but with it being the way it is, They can go right back to their last at bat, pick up an iPad or a smart pad or whatever, look at it, see, how you're going into your gloves. Just so many other little intricacies of pitching that, you could probably get away with back in my day. You can't get away with that today.
Right.
You have to bring your A game every time you take the mound, and that's why there's really a huge separation between the great pitchers in the game and the mediocre average guys, because those are the guys that struggle with those little things. And it's not just tipping pitches. It's working ahead in the count. You will see, I'll bring this up after people starts, how many first pitch strikes they throw.
Right.
They'll face 20 hitters, they'll throw 12 first pitch strikes. That's not good enough. You need to be around 15 out of 20, 16 out of 20. So when you watch a Garrett Cole start, he'll face 27, 30 batters, whatever, 32 batters. He's probably 80 to 85% first pitch strikes. So that guy that's why he dominates. He gets ahead. And so then I'll give you the averages, and this is from last year. If you get a first pitch strike, 7 out of 10 times you're getting a guy out. If you get 0-2 on a hitter in the major leagues, they hit 0-50. 0-50 if you can get the first 2 strikes on a guy. So you really want to be throwing strikes. You really want to be pounding the strike zone. And that could be changeups. You could throw 2 back-to-back changeups. You could throw 2 curveballs. It doesn't matter. You have to effectively be able to throw strikes to be a major league pitcher or pitch at any level for that matter.
There is some Oakland A's stadium news today.
No.
It's not necessarily the
More
best
teachers
of news.
against
No,
baseball?
It's not in Vegas. It's in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
The sign that says "Rooted in Oakland since '68" has been removed. It just got taken off the building this afternoon. It's official. They're not rooted in Oakland anymore. They'll always be rooted in Oakland.
I think they started in Philadelphia. I think they were the Philly Athletics.
No, you are
went
correct.
to Kansas City.
That's why
and
they
then
have
Oakland.
That's
so
why
you
they have the
never
elephant.
really started your roots.
Weren't they told that a baseball team in Oakland would be a circus, and that's why they have the elephant?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why Charlie Finley came in with the elephant. Yes, but that's why the elephant's on the sleeve. But I think at the same time, listen, I grew up an A's fan. And I'll always be an A's fan because of the 70s A's, not the 80s and 90s versions. But those guys were amazing. But at the same token, life goes on, man. You're ripping down plaques. I remember when Barry Bonds went through all of his stuff and the Giants ripped down all of his stuff. Dude, he helped build that stadium. No matter what you may think of Barry Bonds, that dude, he put more butts in the seats. He generated more enthusiasm for a new stadium. And now they're slowly getting back with Barry Bonds, but it's like, if you want Oakland to always be a part of Oakland or even the Raiders, I mean, you're not doing the same thing to the Raiders. Raiders went to L.A., then back to Oakland, then to Vegas. I mean, the Raiders have kind of been gypsies before the new version of the Oakland Athletics going to Vegas was doing this stuff. Why is there so much animosity towards the A's? I thought we had the whole Moneyball love thing going on.
It's the owner, man, because the owner sucks. The owner doesn't care about baseball. He just wants to make a bunch of money in Las Vegas. He doesn't care about the traditions in Oakland, and he definitely doesn't care about the Oakland A baseball fan. Does not. So he's a villain. Maybe villain number 1 in Major League Baseball right now. Well, Manfred. Villain number 2.
I don't know. I kind of think John Henry's group and the Fenway group.
Speaking of the Red Sox, I do have some Red Sox news. Let's start with the funny. Kurt found this out today. Jason Alexander on the Red Sox. Just signed him.
Not that Jason Alexander.
Not George Costanza,
No.
Unfortunately. Just some guy named Jason Alexander. Maybe he'll turn into something. Who knows? They need something to happen. If not, bring in George Costanza. Let him pitch. Other news, Tristan Casas is going to be away from the team for a while. He is sick. In fact, here's the quote from Cora. He's sick. He has the flu.
So stay home.
He's going to be out of the facility for 2 or 3 days. He has a
I
net,
thought you were
a
talking
tee,
like 2 or 3 weeks.
bats, balls. He might be in Miami right now swinging. Casas. He's funny. You never know.
He's a totally different bird, man. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do. I know he paints his nails black and he lays in the sun and stuff. You know what? All I care about, hit the ball, catch the ball, play some baseball, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I wish him well. I want him to get healthy. It sucks when you've done all this work getting ready for spring training, then you get to spring training and you catch the bug. Ugh.
He's a big part. If they do anything,
Nah, it's going to be with Costas.
he is a
in the
big
middle of that
part
lineup.
of their team this year.
Listen. I misread that boy last year. First half of the season, I thought get
I
rid of that
don't.
guy, send him back, and by the end of the year, I thought he made great adjustments at the plate and did a nice job. The guy that really disappointed me was Dahlback, and he continues to have to make all the trips and stuff. I think he's a long shot to make the team. But that's one of those guys that you could put in a deal to maybe pick up somebody else. At least give that guy an opportunity to go somewhere and play.
I say just hold your horses because things could change for both those guys. Dahlbeck could run into a bunch here in the next couple of months and actually be on the squad, and Casas can go right back to hitting 180 real quick. So you might not be completely amiss with Tristan Casas just yet. I would say just wait and see how it works out this season.
Joey Gallo had a big-time double in one of his at-bats
No
this
way,
spring. But
not
I
a
think
home run or a
Peter
strikeout?
Alonso is a guy that I'm watching. How many he clubs and how he impresses in spring training, because he's working on an extension. He should have already been extended in my book. I think Peter Alonso is a great player, and the Mets don't have that many great players and ambassadors for the sport. So he hit his first home run of the spring, an off-speed pitch over the wall. But all of that, the baseball is meaningless. It's he shouldn't have to be where he is now, worrying about his future as he goes into this season, because he's done so well for the Mets over the last 6 years.
I feel for him. The players that have come in and out that were not brought up as Mets,
while he's been here.
Yeah, and he was there the whole entire time, so he reads the stories. He knows how much those guys are getting paid. He knows what they do on the field, how they produce. Yes, they're great. He's not going to badmouth them or anything, but they're gone. They're already out of here. So you were able to spend that stupid money on people that didn't produce, that you didn't bring up in Major League Baseball. This guy you brought up in Major League Baseball, he is going to be contending for home run titles in the National League. He wins you ball games. I mean, his bat has walked off a lot of ball games there in that Citi Field. And how you have dogged him out. And again, we don't know the conversations with some of these price tags. But
No, and you know what? And there was a huge article on that, and Stephen A. was talking about this, and I disagree with all of them. Your agent is only as good as you let them be. And if you allow them to talk for you and don't get into the discussions, that's why I think Snell is where he's at. I don't trust that Boris is making all the decisions. Snell can say, listen, they offered you 220 and you turn it down. That now becomes the player's fault for turning down that money. So I disagree with the people that are saying the agents are making this bad. The agents are just there as a representative of the player. So, Boris has always been tough, and he's always tried to get the most money, whether I like him or not. I mean,